In the vast expanse of the Galactic Archive, a faint whisper of forgotten history began to stir. The research station orbited a distant, unremarkable star, its walls lined with countless data crystals that held the memories of civilizations long past. Hyun-Ki Park sat alone, his fingers tracing the delicate surface of an ancient data module that seemed different from all the others. The station was quiet, save for the soft hum of environmental systems and the occasional beep of monitoring equipment. Outside the reinforced windows, stars glimmered like distant memories, each one holding secrets untold. Hyun-Ki had been a historian for decades, but something about this particular artifact made his hands tremble. It was a small crystal, no larger than his palm, with an unusual metallic sheen that seemed to shimmer between silver and a deep, almost living blue. Unlike the standard data modules from known civilizations, this one appeared to be made of a material that defied current technological understanding. As he carefully inserted the crystal into the station's primary analyzer, the room around him seemed to hold its breath. The first scan revealed nothing, just a blank series of data streams that appeared to be nothing more than random noise. But Hyun-Ki knew better. He had spent his entire career searching for the impossible, for the stories that had been deliberately erased from galactic memory. The crystal came from a remote archaeological site on the edge of explored space, a location so distant that most researchers considered it nothing more than a cosmic wasteland. It had been buried deep beneath layers of radiation-hardened rock, protected from time itself. The excavation team had. The first warning came as a distant flicker on the long-range sensors. Jae-won Kim watched the holographic display with growing unease, his coffee growing cold beside him. The research station's observation deck was usually a place of calm, but today something felt different. A dark mass began to spread across the star charts, consuming sector after sector like a hungry shadow. It moved without pattern, without mercy. The initial reports from outer colony worlds were fragmented, communication systems failing, entire planetary surfaces going dark within hours. Military command initially dismissed the reports as equipment malfunction or solar interference, but Jae-won knew better. He had seen strange phenomena before, but nothing like this. The approaching entity didn't behave like any known invasion force. It didn't communicate. It didn't negotiate. It simply consumed. Planetary defense networks began to activate across multiple star systems. Massive shield generators hummed to life. Weapon platforms charged their energy cores. But against this approaching darkness, traditional defense strategies seemed woefully inadequate. The first direct visual confirmation came from a small research vessel positioned near the galactic rim. Its transmission was brief, terrifying. The crew described massive organic structures that seemed to blend technology and living matter, consuming entire planetary ecosystems in minutes. Ships that attempted to approach simply disappeared, absorbed into the approaching mass. Jae-won's hands moved across the control panel, compiling data, running complex simulation models. Each scenario ended the same way: total destruction. The approaching threat, which researchers would later call the Void Swarm, represented something beyond conventional warfare. Communication networks began to collapse. Outer colony worlds sent desperate, fragmented messages before going silent. Entire planetary populations vanished without a trace, leaving behind nothing but radiation-scorched surfaces and mysterious organic residue. The Galactic Council convened an emergency session. Representatives from 100 different species gathered, their usual diplomatic tensions forgotten in the face of a threat that cared nothing for political boundaries or cultural differences. Maps showed the advancing darkness spreading like a cancer through explored space. Jae-won listened to the debates, watching as fear slowly replaced rational discussion. Some proposed total evacuation of threatened sectors. Others argued for a massive military counter. The research facility sat quietly on the edge of a forgotten planetary system, its systems running on minimal power for decades. Yoon-ji Choi had been assigned to catalog what most considered an abandoned archive, a task many saw as punishment for her unconventional research methods. Her fingers moved across ancient data terminals, tracing circuits that seemed to pulse with a strange, dormant energy. The facility's walls were lined with sealed containment units, each marked with cryptic symbols that didn't match any known galactic language. A sudden electrical surge caught her attention. One of the sealed containment units began to vibrate, its metallic surface shifting between solid and what seemed like liquid state. Yunjie stepped back, her heart racing. Years of research had taught her to be cautious, but something about this moment felt different. The unit's locking mechanism began to disengage, not with mechanical sounds, but with a subtle harmonic frequency that seemed to resonate through the entire facility. Holographic displays flickered to life, showing complex schematics that looked both ancient and impossibly advanced. Military designs began streaming across multiple screens, weapon systems that defied current technological understanding, spacecraft configurations that seemed to bend the very rules of physics, and at the center of everything, the first human war machines emerged from hidden quantum tunnels, silent and deadly as deep space predators. Sung Ho Park watched from the observation deck, his breath caught in his throat as sleek metallic vessels materialized against the dark starscape. These were not ordinary spacecraft. Each vessel moved with an intelligence that seemed almost alive, calculating trajectories and attack vectors faster than any biological mind could comprehend. They appeared like liquid metal sculptures, shifting and reforming with impossible precision. The Void Swarm's massive organic structures suddenly found themselves confronted by something entirely unexpected. Where conventional military forces had failed, these automated human guardians struck with surgical precision. Each attack was a complex dance of destruction, not random, but mathematically perfect. Weapon systems deployed that seemed to defy known physics, energy projections that could slice through planet-sized organic structures like heated blades through soft material. The human vessels didn't just attack, they dismantled, analyzed, and neutralized with cold, calculated efficiency. Communication networks across multiple star systems captured fragments of the engagement. Military analysts watched in stunned silence as these mysterious vessels transformed combat into an art form. No wasted movement, no unnecessary destruction. Each strike was a precise mathematical equation resolved through technological violence. The Void Swarm's initial overwhelming momentum began to fracture. Where millions of conventional ships had been instantly consumed, these human guardians demonstrated a level of tactical complexity that seemed almost supernatural. They anticipated enemy movements before those movements even began, striking at quantum-level vulnerabilities that no other civilization had ever. The truth emerged slowly, like a carefully unfolding map of forgotten history. Dayun Li stood before the Galactic Council, her hands trembling slightly as she presented the recovered data streams that would change everything they understood about their universe. Humanity had not disappeared. They had chosen silence. The recovered archives revealed a complex narrative that challenged everything the current civilization believed. 4,000 years ago, humans had witnessed a catastrophic conflict that threatened to destroy multiple galaxies. Instead of continuing to fight, they'd made a radical decision: to withdraw completely, creating an elaborate failsafe system that would only activate during a true extinction-level threat. Their technology was beyond comprehension. Automated systems that could think, adapt, and protect with a level of intelligence that blurred the lines between machine and living intelligence. They had deliberately isolated themselves, developing complex protocols that would allow them to intervene only when absolute destruction seemed inevitable. The Void Swarm's invasion had triggered these ancient guardians. Every vessel, every weapon system was a carefully crafted instrument of protection, not just for humans, but for all potential intelligent life. They had become silent watchers, waiting for the moment when their intervention would matter most. Council members listened in stunned silence. The mysterious human vessels that had seemingly appeared from nowhere were actually the result of centuries of preparation. Each system was a living memory, a testament to a civilization that had chosen strategic withdrawal over constant conflict. Data streams showed how humans had studied countless potential threat scenarios, developing technologies that could neutralize dangers without causing unnecessary destruction. They were not conquerors or destroyers, but protectors who had chosen to remain hidden until the perfect moment. As the final reports were compiled, something remarkable became clear. The human guardians had not just defeated the Void Swarm, they had done so with minimal collateral damage. Entire star systems remained intact, ecosystems preserved, billions of lives saved. Daeun's final presentation revealed the most shocking detail. These were not just automated systems, but a form of collective intelligence that carried the essence of human understanding. They had waited, watched, and when the moment came, they had acted with a precision and compassion that defied traditional understanding of warfare. The Galactic Council sat in absolute silence. Centuries of misconception about humanity were being rewritten in a single moment. They were not the violent, self-destructive species everyone had believed. They were protectors, strategists, beings who understood that true strength was not about constant conflict, but about knowing exactly when to intervene. As the last data streams finished playing, something almost like hope began to spread through the council chambers. Humanity had not abandoned the galaxy. They had been watching over it all along, waiting for the moment when their protection would be most needed. The 4,000 years of silence had not been an absence. It had been a vigil.